Hello everybody, my name is Edgar Aznar. I'm the CEO of Gamma UX, and I am passionate about wild things, and by wild I mean journeys, and today we're going to talk about journey maps. Journey maps is about fulfilling. Just stick to this word, fulfill. Fulfill means exceeding a person's expectations on the delivery of a service or a product. Fulfill is excellence, and journey maps, it's about providing simplicity on how to reach this excellence. Journey mapping is therefore a strategic tool, a tool for open innovation, a tool for constant improvement. And what we want to give away in this masterclass is that you reach a point where you are able to deliver to your clients, to your talents, to your shareholders, a journey map on whatever part of your business that you are interested. It can be a talent journey, it can be a selling journey. So by this masterclass, at the end, I want to focus on three main things. One thing is pain points and wow moments. We have all heard a lot about it, but mainly the essence of a journey map is how can we go from a pain point situation to a wow situation. And I will give you an example of that. The second thing is that we need to be global minded in order to deliver omni-channels journey map. That means that from a client perspective, a user perspective, it's a journey, it's not only a single part of a journey. A journey is an integrated thing, it's a big thing. It's from 0 to 100, from end to end. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that we need to keep it simple. Storytelling, when it comes to journey map, is the key. So if you want to provide a good storytelling, if you want to have our teams, our clients, our shareholders to remember something, it has to be clear, it has to be visual and straight to the point. Among the most important things that we need to keep in mind when we design a journey map is creating empathy. And that is a crucial thing. We need to be open listeners. We need to craft a process that is simple. We need to storytelling that process in order to define an as-is situation. So when we talk about creating empathy, it's that we need to involve the different agents, the different actors that are involved in the journey map to put them all together, and as I said, on a simple and visual way. Another concept is simplicity. And for us, simplicity is such an important thing. If we keep it simple, we can allow conversation to get into that design of the journey map. Simplicity is one of the main assets that we need to bear in mind when we craft a journey map. It allows us to talk to all the actors, to get all the insights, to get the wow moments, to get the pain point moments. So simplicity is something that will be with us all throughout the design of the journey map. And journey maps are strategic, and it is therefore a strategic tool because it helps us building a future. And that, to me, is so critical. We have worked on the previous phase on the as-is by this simplicity, where we can onboard all the actors to tell us how they perform. But the goal here is to define a future, to craft a new situation. That's the only way of onboarding people, clients, shareholders, talents in the next phase. It's an open innovation thing. So crafting a future will be part of the to-be process that we will follow when we design a journey map. And journey mapping is also a hands-on approach. I mean, at the end, it doesn't help a lot if we just design a to-be model. We need to implement all the actions for this to be real. So crafting a future and implementing all this action plan will be part of the journey map. Therefore, it's a super good tool for open innovation and improvement. It's a roadmap to start applying best references, good benchmarking practices in order to set out a perfect and excellent journey map. And very important, the elements of a journey map, because we're talking about a flow, a journey. So we need to avoid getting into detail of the classical process mapping where there are a lot of factors, a lot of interactions, a lot of what if. No, this is a visual thing. This is a flow thing. So the elements of this journey map are very straight to the point. The first thing is that we need to identify big phases of that flow, and we'll come with an example later on. We need to identify what are the activities that support these main actions, what are the tools involved, what personas are participating in that phase, how is interaction, is it physical, is it virtual, therefore is a multi-channel interaction, what type of output are we providing in every phase. So with all these elements, we need to design the journey map. And by the example that you will see at the end of the masterclass, it will be very easy to visualize what these elements look like in a flow design basis. Okay, so we have the elements and we have all this simplicity concept in mind, but we're alone and we need to start designing a journey map. So where do we start? Okay, we know the actors, we know the tools, we know the action, we know the activity. First thing, and this is going to be crucial, is to identify constraints. By constraints, we mean all the situations that for the final user, that can be our talent, a client, a shareholder, they feel a pain in the stomach. That means that the perception of our delivery is not excellent. And that's the main thing that we have to start with. Identifying situations where we see what is called as a pain point. Okay, so far we have identified the constraints. This is that perception curve from the pain point to the wow point. What do we have to do next? Next is gathering information. And by gathering information, we can have two types of information. Information that is very objective, that can be indicators such as the NPS, for example, or a performance indicator, a timeline indicator, a conversion rate, for example, but also subjectivity data. It's something that we have to gather by doing interviews with clients or users, workshops. So we need to mix all these client perceptual insights with objective data. And by the mix of qualitative and objective data, we can tie this instrument to the pain point or to the wow point. So we're building up a system where from a client statement, which can be, I feel bad when you don't respond in only one day. Okay, where is the indicator? How do we perform? How many times have we performed in just one day? What are the statistics? So that's about gathering information. And what do we do next? Step 3. And again, with this simplicity concept in mind, we need to synthesize all our findings. When we say simplicity, it's because we need to be able to explain anybody without any formal preparation on the findings that we have encountered. So the synthesis is the critical point of this journey that will reflect exactly how the journey is performing. In a visual way, in a simple way, in a flow way. So keep in mind that the synthesis of the work that we need to do when we design a journey map, it will be one of the main outputs of our work. And the last mile of this journey map are steps 4 and 5. Step 4 is, we need to design the experience. So with all the information that we have gathered, with all the pain points identified, with all this crafting that we want to apply with this synthesis, we need to produce the journey map, our aspirational journey map. And on step 5, that is the end of the journey, in terms of designing this journey map, is how do we envision all the actions that have to be put in place, how we prioritize these actions, how we produce a plan for implementation, how do we follow up this implementation plan. So there's a lot of tactics in this step 5 that build up the strategic aim of the journey map. And before giving you 5 takeaways of what I would expect or suggest that you remember about this masterclass, I want to give an example of a personal experience. A few years ago, I was traveling a lot to Mexico for business matters, and always tourist class. 10-hour flight, no problem. But once with a client, he told me, Edgar, come with us and we'll get your first class ticket. And I thought, wow. My perception was, this is going to be outstanding, awesome. But the reality, from a journey map perspective, and when we say about omni-channel and end-to-end, is that the only good experience was when I was in the flight from Barcelona to Ciudad de Mexico. But all the hassle with the packing, with customs, exiting the plane, queuing for check-in, it was just the same as with tourist class. Slightly better, but my experience in terms of wow and pain points was that in terms of wow, was only at the 8 hours in the plane. And by the way, I had a guy by my side snoring all the way through. So, kind of so-so experience. But the rest, to me, it made no difference. So why paying a surplus of 3,000 euro for experience that in terms of end-to-end, it wasn't great? So keep in mind this concept. Clients, users, talents, shareholders, they understand a journey from 0 to 100, not the 30 to the 60. It's the full experience. Finishing this masterclass, I want to give out 5 points that are critical for the journey map design. The first thing is the concept of simplicity. Keep it simple. Onboard all the stakeholders. Make them part of the team. Don't put complex situations. Just stick to a simple concept way of designing. The second is omni-channel or omni-experience. That means bear in mind that from a journey perception, it's 0 to 100. It's not just part of the journey, it's the full journey. The third is a mix of objectivity with qualitative data. So gather all the information that can support your as-is definition of the journey map. The fourth is the to-be model. To-be model means that we need to craft a journey map for open innovation, for constant improvement. And it is for that the fifth takeaway is action. We need to design an action plan to implement all the improvements that we have identified on our aspirational journey. So a journey map, it's not worth doing it if there is no action plan before. And the action plan has to be measurable, prioritized, and communicated to all the stakeholders so that it becomes a strategic tool.